Cutting dead air and bad takes is the part of editing that drains your soul. It's the least creative, most time-sucking piece of the process. And if you record long-form, podcasts, interviews, tutorials, you know exactly how many evenings vanish into scrubbing waveforms and deleting filler. A few months back, I tried an AI first cut accelerator to automate that pass, and it genuinely shaved hours off my week. But here's the thing. I don't just want a cleaner timeline. I want finished clips that actually post on schedule and grow the channel. That's why I moved my workflow into Vizard. In this breakdown, I'll show you the baseline approach with a first cut tool so you see what it solves and where it stalls. Then I'll walk through how Vizard takes the same long recording and turns it into a week of short form without me bouncing between 5 apps. Same friendly tone, just real steps you can copy today. Quick note up top, there's a link below if you want to try what I'm showing. Not a sponsored piece, I'm just walking you through what actually saved time and got me posting consistently. Let's set a baseline with the first cut accelerator flow. On desktop, you import one or multiple files, name the project, pick your language, and tell it what to do. I keep it simple, remove silences and obvious bad takes. I skip jump cuts and noise reduction on this pass because I prefer to do that later in my editor where I can see the full context. Hit Enhance H Edit and let it cook. On a sub 25-minute recording, processing usually finishes in 3 to 4 minutes, as long as the source file is truly local. Pro tip, if your footage sits on a NAS or cloud drive, cache it to your machine first. If you don't, the app crawls and the cut detection gets weird, which defeats the whole point. When it's done, you land on a transcript view of your whole video. The tool transcribes everything on the left. The parts it removed are grayed out. That alone is a mindset shift. You're editing like a writer instead of a timeline janitor. You also get stats. How many cuts it made, and how much it shrunk your runtime. You can pad each cut with a little buffer to make the pace feel human. I usually add about 100 milliseconds before and after. And if it over-trimmed, you can uncut sections by selecting the gray text and clicking the scissors. That loop, robot choose, human verifies, is the reason it saves time. If a 25-minute raw becomes 5 minutes of content, I can review and fix in 7-ish minutes instead of manually chasing every ooh in the timeline. Now for the caveats, so we're honest about where this approach taps out. Captions inside that app export as a baked overlay, not a proper caption track. If you're moving to DaVinci Resolve, Premiere, or Final Cut and you want editable captions, a baked image is not it. The app also has a tiny pause after each edit, maybe 100 milliseconds, but enough to make it hard to feel micro-timing. And there's no proxy media option, so if your machine or footage is heavy, it won't play as nicely as a real NLE, which is why most people export an XML file. That XML doesn't contain video. It just points to your original files and lists every cut with in-date out times. In Resolve, you go to Edit, right-click the media pool, Timeline, Import XML, and your cut timeline appears. From there, you can fine-tune, do creative edits, add text, grade, mix. Same idea in Final Cut or Premiere since they speak the same XML language. That first cut to XML to NLE dance is solid for one narrow goal, saving you from the boring cleanup. But here's why I stopped doing it for podcasts and interviews and shifted to Vizard. Cleaning a timeline is half the job. What actually grows a channel in 2025 is 1. Your opening line hits immediately without filler. 2. Your captions are readable on a dim phone and locked to your voice. 3. Your look is consistent across platforms. And 4. The clips go out on time every week without you white-knuckling a calendar. Vizard handles that whole chain inside one app, so there's no XML ping pong, no rendering masters before you can make verticals, no hopping to yet another tool to schedule posts. Here's the Vizard flow I run now, step by step. I drop in a long recording, podcast, tutorial, interview, webinar. Vizard auto-transcribes with word-level timestamps, which means I can edit like a doc. Delete a sentence in the transcript and the timeline trims itself, fix a name once, and it propagates through the clip. It's the fastest way to tighten dialogue because you're reading and cutting ideas, not guessing out points. Then auto-editing viral clips takes over. It hunts for stop-scroll hooks, clean claims, crisp how-tos, mic drop lines, cliffhanger endings, and trims out the wind-up chatter and filler. It converts to vertical automatically and frames your face or screen share so you don't look decapitated. And it builds captions that are syllable synced to your voice, which sounds fussy until you're on a bus at 30% brightness and you can read every word in rhythm. I set font, size, highlight color, and a subtle stroke once, lock safe zones so text never lands on my mouth or collides with TikTok or Instagram UI, and apply that across the batch. From a single 20-40 minute session, I reliably get 8 to 12 shorts I'd actually post. That's a week's worth of content from one recording. Brand Touch is live right there too. Progress bar, toggle it and color match. Logo in the corner, drag and drop. 3-second outro bumper to catch follows, 1 click. More importantly, every clip inherits the same look so your grid feels intentional, like one editor touched everything, not like 5 tools fought over your style. Now the part that separates I made clips from my channel grew, posting rhythm. Vizard's content calendar lets me map the week in minutes, Monday, bold claim, Tuesday, how-to, Wednesday, story, Thursday, objection buster, Friday, social proof. I drag clips to avoid posting 2 identical framings back to back. Then I flip auto schedule. I pick times and platforms, TikTok, IG Reels, YouTube Shorts, and LinkedIn, and the posts go out while I'm doing literally anything else. If something timely pops up, I drag it to the top and the rest of the calendar adjusts without nuking my plan. If I'm collaborating, teammates tweak hooks, crops, and styles inside Vizard, clients leave comments right on the clip. Bigger captions, cut 2 seconds, change title, and version history protects the good version. The entire long video to scheduled shorts path happens inside one surface, which is the point. Let me give you 3 head-to-head moments from the same podcast so you can feel the difference in practice. The clean hook. The first cut tool pulled a 40-second chunk that opened with filler and a tiny before the main line. Vizard's auto clip started on the exact hook line, trimmed the breath, and timed captions so emphasized words popped on beat. Same content, better open, more watch time. The screen share crop. The first cut plus NLE route put captions too close to app UI watermark areas, meaning extra manual nudging. Vizard's safe zones kept captions off my mouth and away from watermark zones without thinking. Less fiddling, more shipping. The pacing. I like to keep micro pauses between sentences so it doesn't feel breathless. In the NLE, I added spacing manually in a couple passes. In Vizard, I nudged the transcript timing and the video conformed in seconds. That's the whole edit-like writing advantage. Your brain stays on the words, not the tools. Since captions are such a big deal for short form, here's a quick A/B test I ran over 2 weeks. Variant A, medium contrast color, no stroke, line breaks wherever the auto system wanted. Variant B, my Vizard default, high contrast highlight with subtle stroke, intentional line breaks, and emphasized keywords. Variant B consistently beat A on completion rate by 7 to 12% and got 15 to 20% more saves on Instagram and Shorts. On low brightness phones, that tiny stroke matters. If your captions are hard to read, no one turns their sound on just to do you a favor. If you're a planner, here's an ultra simple content calendar template I use for thought leadership pods. Monday, bold claim, Tuesday, how-to micro tip, Wednesday, story beat, Thursday, objection buster, Friday, social proof. I build these from a single long session in Vizard, pick the 8 to 12 strongest clips, and schedule 5 for the week. The extras are my buffer for travel or busy weeks. That buffer is how you keep the habit alive. A few recording best practices that make Vizard even better. Speak in hooky sentence shapes. Here's the one thing. Do this instead of, if you only remember one step, Vizard finds these lines more reliably. Give yourself clean starts, pause, then say the line. AI loves a crisp boundary. Keep audio clean. Good mic in a quiet room. AI can't rescue mushy sound without artifacts. Who should use what? If your entire problem is the boring first pass, trimming silences, and obvious repeats, a first cut tool is worth it. It turns janitorial labor into a quick verification pass and exports an XML you can drop into your NLE. But if your goal is to ship short form every week and actually grow, skip the XML ping pong and do it in Vizard. The auto clips open stronger, captions land on beat, and styling is one and done across platforms, and the scheduling means you keep your promise to post. That last part is the killer feature no one markets. Consistency. Most channels don't stall because the content is bad. They stall because the workflow is fragile. Here's an easy challenge to run this week so you can decide without vibes. Take one 20, 30-minute recording, interview, solo rant, tutorial. Option A, old way, throw it into a first cut tool, verify cuts, export XML, import into your NLE, clean the open, render a master, then prep verticals and hope you remember to post. Track time spent, number of clips you actually finished, and whether they posted on schedule. Option B, my way now, drop it straight into Vizard, let auto-editing viral clips surface the hits, pick 8 to 12, set one caption style, map 5 days in the content calendar, flip auto schedule, and go record the next thing. Next week, compare completion rate on the first 3 seconds, saves, and how much traffic those shorts sent to the full episode. If Vizard beats it, and I'm betting it will, make that your default. Team workflows make the gap even bigger. In the first cut plus NLE world, your assistant needs access to your editor, your XML, your media, your render queue, and some external scheduler. In Vizard, I invite them in, they tighten hooks from the transcript, adjust crops and styles in the same UI, drag clips on the calendar, and get client comments directly on the video with time-linked notes. I approve, and AutoSchedule handles posting. Version history means we can test different openings or caption styles without overrating the winner. That's literally the difference between content is a side quest and content is a system. A quick note on limits because no tool is magic. If you're producing cinematic sequences with complex sound design and compositing, Vizard isn't replacing your NLE. It's not trying to. Where it absolutely dominates is dialogue-heavy, message-driven content where the bottleneck is finding hooks, keeping style consistent, and shipping every week. Podcasts, interviews, tutorials, webinars, live replay, you'll feel the time savings on day one and the growth in a month. If you want me to do a full long video to 1 week of posts, screen share inside Vizard with your episode, drop a link below. I'll bring the receipts, watch time, saves, and click through to the full video so you can see exactly where the time savings turn into growth. In the meantime, try it yourself. Film once, let Vizard do the heavy lifting, and keep your channel moving. Stop losing hours to dead air and duct-taped workflows. Start building a cadence people can count on. That's how you go from posting in bursts to actually compounding. Bottom line, in one sentence, a first cut accelerator saves you from the boring half of editing. Vizard ships the whole thing, hooks that hit, captions that read, styling that sticks, and a calendar that posts, so you keep the promise to show up every week. And that's the only metric that matters long term.